Well, hello everyone and welcome to this ChatGPT tutorial where we'll be showing you how to use ChatGPT for beginners. Now, through the course of this video, we'll be taking you through different scenarios, different prompts, and the goal here is to help you as a beginner to get used to ChatGPT, get the best of what it can do for you, and increase your productivity. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. One of the first things you might want to do with ChatGPT is if you're using it for free or with the paid version. ChatGPT comes with the free version and you can ask it anything. However, there are limitations to it. Now, of course, if you'd like to sign up for ChatGPT for free, you can go over to the top right corner, click on sign up for free. So right here, you can create an account by putting in your email address, click on continue and provide some more details. That is the manual version, and the easier option is to go with your Google account, your Microsoft account, Apple, or with your phone number. For this tutorial, we'll be continuing with our Google account. And so we're going to go ahead and choose an email which we'll be using for our Google account to connect with ChatGPT. This makes the sign-up process a lot more easier. And as you can see, we're in. At the top right corner, you can see that this is a ChatGPT Plus account. However, what we'll be showing you in this tutorial can be also applied for the free version, so not to worry about it. At the top left corner here, you can see ChatGPT 4o. When you click on the drop down, you can see different models. Now, some of these models are available on the free plan and they actually do respond to your queries accordingly. There are more models here such as the 4.5, 4.1 and 4.1 mini, but we'll be using the 4.0, but of course, whichever version you're using, not to worry because everything will work as well. Now, as a beginner, you might be wondering what these buttons are here for. Now, if you go over to the top left corner, you can see the ChatGPT icon turning from the ChatGPT icon itself to a sidebar. If we click on the sidebar, it will open the sidebar where you can see some other details, such as your chat history down here when we scroll down, and you can see Codex, Sora, and these options are actually for the paid version, but not to worry because this will not interrupt your free experience. So you have the new chat, search for chat and library. We're going to close this up by clicking on close sidebar, and now we have some more real estate on our page. Now you have the input area, and this is basically where you can communicate with ChatGPT. To take ChatGPT for a ride, we're going to give it an example. So here in this example, we're going to be asking ChatGPT for specific details or facts. We're going to ask a question such as, what is the capital of France? So this is an easy question, but this is just to show you how it works. I'm going to press and send, and you can see a straightforward answer. The capital of France is Paris, the city of lights, croissants, and confusing metro maps. So that's how you get to ask ChatGPT a question and get an answer. And in the next example, we'll be asking ChatGPT for suggestions. So let's say, for example, we need ideas for a fun family activity this weekend. So we're going to simply ask ChatGPT, give me ideas for a fun family activity this weekend. So this is going to show a list of suggestions generated. Let's go. As you can see, we did not give it a limit to the number of ideas, but it's just given us 7 great ideas. And you can see that it's arranged them with the names of these activities with some descriptions right after them. So with ChatGPT, you can get suggestions instead of thinking for a long time. In another example, we'll be using ChatGPT for language translation. Here for language translation, we'll just simply say, translate a certain sentence into another language. For example, we have this prompt. Translate hello, how are you in Spanish. Let's go. As you can see, hello, how are you in Spanish is hola, ¿cómo estás? I hope I got that right, but you can see that ChatGPT can be used for language translation. Now, there are other things that ChatGPT can do, such as comparing things if you want to have a side-by-side or point-by-point comparison. So we're going to give an example. Say we want to make a comparison between a lion and a tiger. So let's go ahead and try that example. As you can see here, we have the comparison. What are the key differences between a lion and a tiger? Let's go. Great. Now, as you can see, we have lions versus tigers, nature's version of heavyweight showdown, right? Here's a quick tale of the tape, right? So you have habitat, social life, appearance, size, roar, and fighting style, right? So you have lions on the top and tigers, and this is basically showing you their differences. And you can use this type of prompt for any other example. We're going to be giving another example just to show you how it works in other cases. So we have the example compare and contrast iOS and Android operating systems. We could also add that we want it concise. This basically is telling ChatGPT to make it brief. Let's go. And as you can see, it's creating a nice looking table, and it has its features on the left side and it has its features on the first column. The second column is iOS and the third column is Android. So on the first row, you're looking at UI UX and you're comparing between iOS and Android. And you have some other examples right here. And you can see in the summary, it says bottom line, iOS, smooth, secure, but a bit bossy. And Android, open, flexible, but sometimes messy. So you can go ahead and make your choice from the comparison right here. This makes things really easy and nice. In our next example, we'll be using ChatGPT for creative writing. So if you're a writer, this is a great example for you. We'll be giving it a prompt. So right here we have generate 3 opening lines for a mystery novel set in a lighthouse. Great. So if you're creatively writing and you want some more creativity, you can employ ChatGPT to do the heavy lifting for you. Let's go. Great. So these are 3 opening lines. Now, you might have noticed at this point that it's really important to give a limit to what ChatGPT will be providing for you. For example, if we said generate opening lines for a mystery novel set in a lighthouse, it might give more than 3, but because we were specific to 3, we have just 3, and you can choose from one of these examples which you would want to be building on. So remember, as a tip, to be specific with ChatGPT and it will give you specific responses, such as the number of responses you want, how brief or how comprehensive you want it to be. In our next example, we'll be using ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas. So let's say you're just opening a coffee shop. Your brand new coffee shop needs a catchy slogan. So we're going to provide a prompt for ChatGPT, and here it says, give me 5 ideas for a catchy slogan for a new coffee shop. Remember, we're being specific by saying, give me a number of 5 ideas for a catchy slogan for a new coffee shop. If you had said, give me ideas for a catchy slogan for a shop, it might not be specific for a coffee shop or the idea. So let's go. So you can see here are 5 perky, catchy coffee shop slogans to get your beans buzzing. Espresso yourself, brewing joy, 1 cup at a time, wake up and smell awesome. These are great examples, of course, which you can go ahead and choose from. Now, of course, if you don't like any of these, instead of asking ChatGPT for more, you can simply click on the drop down right here where you hover over it and it says switch model. We're going to click on it. Now, we're not actually switching models, we're simply saying try again. We're going to do that, and you can see that it's trying again with more examples. And in case you're wondering how you can get to the first example, you can see 2 out of 2. When you click on the previous button, you can see express yourself, which was one of the first 5, and you can go to the next, which is another set of 5. So this is how you can get to ask ChatGPT to regenerate more options without writing in a prompt. Of course, if you want more prompt, you can simply say, give me more. Great, so you can see it numbers from 6 down to 15. Now it's 15. Why? Because we did not give it a specific number, so it just gave us 15. So this is how you can use it to brainstorm ideas. In our next example, we'll be using ChatGPT to summarize text. So let's say we have a large body of text and we want to summarize it. All you need to do is to copy the text, maybe from a Word document or Google Docs or from a website, and you can come and paste it right here. Now you can see that we have this document pasted right here, and this is basically some document about the 5th Amendment, and you want a summary. Now this is lots of information, and you can simply use your Shift and Enter key to go to the next line. So make sure to press Shift and Enter on your keyboard and then say summarize this, and then press on Enter and wait for ChatGPT to make a summary. As you can see, compared to all of this information right here, you can see a nice looking summary about the Fifth Amendment, which is basically the information which was pasted right here. It summarized it to 5 bullet points and some summary underneath it. So this is how you can use ChatGPT to summarize a comprehensive text into something concise and easy to remember. Now, on our next example, we'll be using ChatGPT to generate different lists. Great, so for this example, we'll be having generate a list of ingredients for a simple pepperoni pizza. That sounds delicious, but let's go ahead and send the prompt. Great, so we have about 7 ingredients for our simple pepperoni pizza, and you can of course go ahead and say provide a recipe, right? So let's do that. So as you can see, ChatGPT is currently giving us from the list a specific recipe to follow. You have the ingredients more specifically, and then you have the instructions right there. So you're using ChatGPT to generate lists, and also more to that, you're actually using it to create a recipe just because we love pizza. Now, in our next example, you can use ChatGPT to request names, quotes, or studies. For example, if you'd like to have a famous quote about, say, perseverance, you can simply ask ChatGPT to do that for you. As you can see, we have a famous quote by Confucius, and it says, "It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop." That's a good quote. So that's how we're communicating with ChatGPT. Now, if you're learning English or a certain language, you might want to use ChatGPT to get some feedback on your text. If you're not sure of what you're writing, you can simply put in your text right here, and here it says, "I went to the store and bought some apples." Of course, you might already get the idea of what's wrong in this sentence, but let's assume that you're not sure, and you can simply say to ChatGPT by pressing on Shift and Enter to get to a new line and say, "Is this grammar correct?" Press on Send or Enter, and you're going to get your feedback. It says not quite. The correct version is, "I went to the store and bought some apples." And you can see that you're learning English or you're being corrected by using ChatGPT. So instead of writing bought, ChatGPT helps you to see that it's actually bought. Again, this is a simple example, but you might want to think of more complex examples and get to it by using ChatGPT. Now, one of the things we also love about ChatGPT is you can use ChatGPT for roleplay. So for example, you want to find out some information from a travel agent and you want your itinerary to be planned. So you can simply give ChatGPT a prompt. And here we have our prompt. You are a seasoned travel agent. So we're telling ChatGPT, "Hey, you're a travel agent. I want to plan a 7-day trip to Italy. What's the first question you'd ask me?" Right, so let's go ahead and do this. Now, take note that you're putting ChatGPT in the position of a travel agent, and from here you can start having your conversations with ChatGPT. Let's go and see the result. As you can see, it's already taking the persona of a travel agent, and it's asking us the question, what kind of experience are you looking for? History, food, romance, adventure, or a bit of everything? And we can say a bit of everything. And here it says, are you more into relaxed travel, or do you want to hop around and see as much as possible? And this of course helps ChatGPT to decide how to respond to you. So of course you could go ahead and make your responses and get your 7-day trip planned by ChatGPT. Of course, from this example, you can use ChatGPT as your mentor and ask it to act as your mentor and provide you with some information on a certain career or a certain goal you're pursuing. And in our next example, you can see that we can use ChatGPT to ask it about anything, right? So we can say, I want to learn about artificial intelligence. What are some good questions to ask AI? So let's go ahead and do that. So this is a question that we just asked, and we're going to send it. Great, so you can see that ChatGPT is providing you with questions which you can ask AI, in this case ChatGPT, in order to get a deeper grasp of artificial intelligence, from understanding the basics to digging deeper, or real-world applications, ethics and risk, future, and philosophy. As you can see in this video, we've been able to show you all you can do as a beginner with ChatGPT to harness the power and the best use case scenario while getting your feet wet with AI prompting. We hope you have fun with this and you can go right ahead and start using it. Now, if you found this video helpful, please show your support with a like